Some here in the second round, perhaps because of Nino's ability to counter with the right hand.
Viloria is trying to fight with controlled aggression. He probably needs to up it to more relentless aggression, because at a distance, Nino seems to be able to handle him with his counterpunching.
I agree, and what he did just there is exactly what Nino did so much the first fight. Punch and get in and out. As long as there's single punching and a big lull between the exchanges, Nino is very effective.
Filipino fans in the arena are rooting for the Hawaiian Punch, Brian Viloria. He's of Filipino descent. And we go to the dressing room of Manny Pacquiao, arriving right now in the Thomas & Mack Center. This was also the site of their preceding fight, January 21 of this year, in which Pacquiao was able to knock Morales out in the 10th round. The fight began on even terms. Morales actually led on the scorecards after 5. And then from that point forward, Pacquiao was able to keep stepping up the pace and use his vastly improved right hand. He enters here, flanked by manager Shelly Finkel and by his wife. Pacquiao, who is, as Larry Merchant mentioned to you at the beginning of the show, a giant media star in the Philippines, greets trainer Freddie Roach there as he enters his dressing room. The completion of Nino versus Viloria, and then 2 more fights on the undercard prior to Manny Pacquiao's 3rd assignment against Erik Morales. Round 3 begins here. CompuBox numbers in the 2nd round. Nino, 10 out of 41. Viloria, 7 out of 39. But Viloria landed the big left hook at the end of one exchange, and Harold Lederman gave him the round.
I think the fight starts right here. Because Viloria has to decide whether he's willing to take the chances of getting hit to come in and put it on, because I think Nino is just too good for him from outside.
Larry, I agree, and the fight is moving right in the pattern of the first fight right now. Brian has got to step it up and quit giving so much room between Nino, because Nino is fighting a very smart fight now by keeping that zone between them wide.
And mixing it up left and right, mixing it up body and head, mixing it up, sometimes leading, sometimes countering.
Good. Brian is a bigger puncher, so he needs to go in and take the risk and gamble and try to land more power punches.
Get those arms out, guys. Don't hold the head, don't hold the head, don't hold the head. Come on.
Nino was confident at the beginning of the fight, and if anything, his confidence has grown.
Nino hasn't landed any one particular signature punch, so to say, at this stage, but he's been busy enough.
And he lands a low blow there, and Joe Cortez is going to stop the action as Viloria looked at Cortez, and there's a warning to Nino for low blows.
Sube los golpes. Let's go, guys. Come on, hey, go. No, cuidado con el codo adentro.
Viloria.
Emmanuel, it appears to me that both fighters are using...
Hard right hand by Viloria, and the counter left. And those 2 punches caught Nino's attention, and now Viloria's confidence rises. And now the fight begins to go the way Brian Viloria might want it to go. But he overcommits there, and Nino finds it between the ropes. That blow by Nino was below the belt line of Viloria. On the other side of referee Joe Cortez, they feint, and Viloria tries a jab. He still has not been able to work his jab effectively as a consistent weapon in the fight.
ahí. Háblale, deja hablar con Joe. Deja hablar con Joe. Relax, relax. But one thing the body is good, open heart.
Yeah, don't just stand there. Don't stop. Let it go. Please be alert. Yeah, work the distance.
Here you can see Bryan getting close right now and landing punches right hand and the left hook. The biggest difference is he's crowding and getting much closer to Nino than Nino would like.
Something strange between rounds, Emmanuel. Maybe you can comment on it, where Valoria's trainer walked over to the other corner until the referee shoot him away. I've never seen that.
Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Look at Jim, 3-0. 30-27, Brian Viloria. You know, the first 2 rounds, after Brian Viloria landed the cleanest straighter punches, Nino was throwing wide. In the 3rd round, Nino did well with the flurries, but all of a sudden, Brian Viloria with that straight right hand sort of staggered Omar Nino. 3-0, Viloria.
I have it 2 rounds to 1.
Now there's a low blow by Nino. Second warning in this round.
This is the way Bryan needs to fight. He needs to keep closing the gap, keeping a lot of pressure, making everything be from a shorter distance, which would prevent Nino from being able to time him. Because Nino has more of a loop in his punches. He has to have a lot more punching room.
Nino is catching Bryan to the body as Viloria tries to come in.
Mainly on the belt line. Right on the green weight.
And flirting with danger because he's already gotten 2 warnings for low blows in the round.
And now he has been forced into Valoria's fight, more or less.
Now this is the distance at which Brian Viloria hasn't really been able to function effectively against Omar Nino. He needs to get closer. And Nino suddenly not as eager to throw as was the case in the first couple of rounds. No doubt the result of Brian Valoria's power punches. Nino got in a little left of the body. Viloria tapped him upstairs with a left hook.
Bryan was considered by most of the members on the 2000 Olympic team as the biggest puncher, even though he was the smallest guy on the team.
I have a question to ask you, Emmanuel. They both seem to be wearing gloves to protect their hands, not real puncher's gloves. Do small guys have to protect their hands more than bigger guys?
No, not as much. Some of them just have injuries, but they're wearing the Reyes gloves, if I'm correct, Michael, which is primarily the puncher's gloves. They're not wearing the winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're wearing the puncher's gloves.
They look more pillowy to me.
Yeah, because they were such small guys. Don't forget, they could have both scooted under the bottom strand of the ropes when they entered the ring.
Good left hook by Nino.
So far, the standout punch in the entire fight for the most part has been the left hook of Bryan.
Particularly the one in the 3rd round that strafed Nino against the ropes.
Yeah, Nino hasn't found any punch so far to be that effective too much. It just his movement and ring generalship has given Bryan problems, but no particular punch has he found to be effective in hitting Bryan.
Correct myself, 2nd round, not 3rd round, in which Viloria landed his best left hook. He landed another good one in this round. Erik Morales, in the eyes of some, has done a miraculous job of training himself or getting ready with his trainer, his father, Jose Morales, for this fight. As recently as 3 or 4 months ago, Erik Morales looked grossly overweight for a 130-pound fighter. He went to Los Angeles and spent 2 months training in a sophisticated gym setup there, doing the kind of advanced training exercises which have never been a part of his routine before. Then he went to his normal training camp at high altitude in Mexico and prepared himself in the way that put the angles and the bones back in his face. When you can see the bones howling in Erik Morales' face and he looks emaciated, normally that means he's ready to fight. We'll see if at age 30 and after all the ring wars he's experienced, he still has that unique vigor in the ring.
He claims that the toll that those fights have taken on him is a myth.
He'll have to prove it against Manny Pacquiao. Fifth round, and after some uncertain moments in the first 3 rounds, Brian Viloria seems to have found his confidence and is fighting with a spirited step against Omar Nino, who upset him months ago to take a title belt in this, the 108-pound weight class. Viloria started out, Emmanuel, fighting as a 112-pound professional, and then after more than a dozen fights, moved to 108. Primarily, I assume, to take more advantage of his punching power.
Yeah, I was surprised at it because usually it's just the opposite. It just, to me, I'm still amazed at seeing guys this small being able to fight before these type crowds. 40 years ago, I would have said it was impossible.